Part I. Bubbles and beginnings. It all started with boredom and a pod of overly confident dolphins who called themselves the Splash Squad.
Ugh.
They clicked too loud, swam too fast, and bragged nonstop about their echolocation. So, naturally, I decided to mess with them. First, I snuck behind them during a game of who can leap the highest and started blowing bubbles from my nose in sync with their clicks. The timing was perfect. They thought they'd triggered some ancient sea curse. One screamed, "The bubble ghost is real," and dove into a cave full of grumpy lobsters. I nearly choked holding in my laughter. The next day, I braided seaweed into their dorsal fins while they napped. Not just any seaweed, sparkly green strands tied with clamshell barrettes. When they woke up, they looked like a traveling mare punk rock band. One dolphin swam past his reflection and actually complimented himself before realizing the makeover wasn't self-inflicted. I took a bow. They pretended not to be impressed. They were. Then I replaced their prized shell collection. Yes, they hoard shiny shells like magpies, with jellyfish lookalikes. Not the dangerous kind, don't worry, just the slightly zappy, mildly annoying kind. When they presented their treasures to a group of curious sea cows, their fins twitched with every tiny sting. The cows clapped politely. The dolphins whimpered politely. I winked from a distance. Eventually, the dolphins pieced it all together and cornered me during seaweed smoothies. "You've bested us," said the leader with a dramatic sigh. "But beware." I smiled sweetly. Oh, good. I love games. And that, dear reader, is how I turned a pod of proud dolphins into prank partners, performance artists, and slightly traumatized sea barkers. The ocean's never been the same from then. By now, the dolphins were watching their backs, but not enough. They held a secret meeting in the open, dolphins aren't subtle, to outsmart the prankster. I listened from behind a curtain of seaweed while pretending to braid an octopus's legs. He was into it. Their plan? Practice extra echolocation and swim patterns to detect me early. Cute. Too bad, I can mimic dolphin clicks perfectly. The next morning, I swam nearby and started sending fake commands in their own dialect. Turn left. Spin twice. Wiggle your tail if you like barnacles. They obeyed with such enthusiasm that they accidentally formed a synchronized swimming routine. Tourists from the surface tossed down clamshells in appreciation. I collected those too. Then came. Am I losing my touch? One dolphin gasped.
No.
Something's stealing the shrimp mid-race. They looked around and spotted me casually munching a snack. I gave them a guilty shrug and offered the last shrimp as a peace offering. It was declined. I ate it anyway. Then came. But the barking dolphin prank was the real crown jewel. I told the youngest, most gullible dolphin that if he barked like a sea lion 3 times under a full moon, he'd receive a magical mermaid kiss and grow a sparkly tail. The little guy went for it immediately. His barks echoed through the reef. Curious dolphins joined in, and within minutes, I had an entire pod barking like over-caffeinated seals. I laughed so hard I snorted sea foam again. But I'm a mermaid of my word. I swam up and gave every single one of them a kiss on the nose. Even the grumpy one. Especially the grumpy one. Bigger. Older. More dramatic. So I gathered a troop of glittery fish, shiny silver ones with a flair for synchronized movement. I trained them for 3 days straight, using jelly bean bribes and an old conch shell as a whistle. Our goal? Create ghostly dolphin face shapes underwater and send them swimming directly toward the Splash Squad. It worked better than I could have dreamed. The dolphins spotted the phantoms from afar and froze. Do you see that? They look like us. Are those future versions of us? Panic rippled through the pod. One started trying to communicate by clicking in Morse code. Another swam backward while apologizing to the ocean for whatever sins led to this. Meanwhile, I was hidden behind a coral fan, nearly coughing up my lunch from laughing. But things got even sillier. One dolphin tried to merge with his reflection like a cheesy underwater soap opera. Another offered the fish a shiny pebble as tribute. My jazzfish troupe took it and formed a heart shape in response. Honestly, their performance deserved applause. Eventually, the dolphins pieced it all together and cornered me during seaweed smoothies.
You might have heard tales of a certain little mermaid, the one with sparkling hair, mischief in her heart, and a knack for turning proud dolphins into prancing sea clowns. Yes, her. She pranked us. Again, and again, and again. We wore seaweed wigs. We barked like sea lions. We got outsmarted by jazzish. Do you know the humiliation of being outswum by a glittery mackerel in the shape of your own face? But we dolphins are not just grace and giggles. We are clever. We are coordinated. And this time, we plotted back. It began with Operation Mermaid Mayhem. Step 1. The Echo Maze. We mapped out the narrow coral tunnels where our echo clicks bounce in 1,000 confusing directions. Then we lured her in with a trail of sparkly shells and one suspiciously dramatic message. Come find the treasure of the Sea Queen. She took the bait. Of course she did. She lives for treasure drama. Once inside, we started sending false echoes in every direction. She spun around, totally lost, muttering, "Which one of you just said barnacle biscuits?" We watched from above, barely containing our squeaks of joy. Step 2. Shrimp Storm. While she tried to escape, we released dozens of shrimp into the maze, hyperactive, caffeine-fed shrimp who mistook her hair for seaweed real estate. She surfaced from the tunnels looking like a coral reef in a lightning storm. Step 3. Bubble Barrage. Every dolphin in the pod lined up. One by one, we unleashed rapid-fire bubble rings aimed right at her tail. She spun, dodged, flipped, and laughed the entire time. That mischievous mermaid actually cheered us on. Finally, she shouted, "You're fun now." After the chaos, we all floated together in a big pile of tired fins and tangled hair. She sighed happily. We nuzzled her cheeks in mock offense and clicked in perfect unison. We always were fun. You just needed training. And that, dear ocean, is the day we got the last splash. Well, until she painted googly eyes on our blowholes the next morning. But that's another story.